Okay, just to save with time, I started again. So feel free to pause this and do what you need to catch up. But here we have a region that is bound by x equals 5. That's this vertical line. Y equals -1. That's a horizontal line. And then this is in point slope form. So the point, remember, is what's behind the x, take the opposite sign. What's behind the y, take the opposite sign. So the point would be 1, -1. And it has a slope of 3/4. So I counted up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And I get this triangle, okay? So that is awesome. Now I was asked to actually revolve this over the line y equals -1. That is actually part of my graph. That's this line, which is excellent. When we're revolving it around one of our lines, that makes it a little bit easier. In our previous problem, we didn't do that. That's why we had something that was hollow. So this will not be hollow. Again, I want to count from this point 1, 2, 3, because this is the line I'm revolving it around. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to connect, and then here I just connect these two, trying to make my design a little bit neater, not perfect. And to give it a 3D feel, I'm going to draw in a little arcs here. It's not wanting to go. Doesn't like that one spot. Okay, so hopefully you look at that and you're like, yes, I understand what that is. That is, it's not going to let me take those off. That is a cone. So we did this one before, so this is nothing all that new. When we want to sketch a cross section and it's formed by the plane y equals -1, that's this line right here. When it's formed by this plane, this line is perpendicular to the base. The base is a circle. When it's perpendicular, what's going to happen is the cross section is going to be the shape, it's going right down the center, of the original triangle and its reflection before you started to spin it or revolve it. So that is this triangle, whoops, that has a height of 1, 2, 3, 4. And it has a base of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we wanted to calculate the area of that triangle, that would be pretty easy to do. We know triangle is 1/2. The base times the height. So this would be 12 square units. Does that make sense? All right, now a little bit different is here. We are now, for letter D, going to cut this with a plane x equals 4. So that is right here. Pretend like that's straight. And that actually is, that plane is parallel to our base. So it has the same shape as our base. And our base, remember, of a cone is a circle. Okay, and obviously we need to figure out what the radius of that circle is. Now, if I had cut it right here down at 5, I could count. But this, I don't know for sure. It looks like it's 1, 2, and a little bit more, but is that 1.2? Is it 1.3? Is it, who can tell? And my drawings are not always accurate, so you can't just say I eyeballed it. So we're going to actually use the idea of similar triangles. So we're going to use the idea of, here's this blue triangle, and then we have this big green triangle, and they are obviously similar due to angle. They both have a right angle, and they share this angle at the top. So we're going to do a little bit of a proportion, and we're going to say we have this little triangle, that when we counted the height, we got 3, and we want to count this, and that's the radius. And I'm kind of turning it, so I'm sorry if I confused you. I'm kind of turning it because that's just how my mind thinks. Here, the whole height was 4, and we knew the radius was 3. So then just set up a proportion. And again, there are a lot of ways to set up a proportion. I'm going to say vertical is to vertical as horizontal is to horizontal. And my diagram's here, but you could set up proportions many ways. And you obviously can solve this to get the radius is 9/4. All right, once we know the radius, we can certainly find the area. And the area of this would be pi r squared. So we get 81/16 pi. And that actually, and remember we said we weren't sure what this was. This is 2 1/4, and we kind of were guessing what it was. We weren't that far off. This is going to be 15.9. All right, hope that makes sense. Just one more video after this.